Hello and welcome to this video on how to collect an oak tree for bonsai. The first step in collecting an oak tree for bonsai is to place your order on the website and pay. And now you wait. Okay, it is more complicated than that if you want to collect a Yamadori tree or similar. Unlike other Yamadori species, oak is somewhat more difficult. Oak species are very temperamental when it comes to the time, place, and method of collection. To maximize the success of your collection, we suggest you follow these very general rules. Understand that we can't guarantee success, but we can give you the lowest probability of complete failure, but you will probably still have some attrition. The first consideration is going to be timing. Oak species do not like being interrupted or interfered with during any period of activity, so aim to dig up and collect your trees in winter. The reason you want to aim for dormancy is the trees will cope better. This is also so that you don't go out and try and collect your Yamadori tree only to find that you've collected a dead stick, a rather unfortunate consequence of a failed collection. There are a range of considerations to account for, and we're going to go through quite a few of these. Now, individually, each one may be of help, but collectively they should overall increase the probability of success. But as stated, increased probability and not definitively increased. The first thing is dormancy. Your oak tree is not going to like being interfered with in the middle of its growing period. It's just not going to cope well and it will throw a fit. This will lead to trees dying very quickly. You want to wait until they are dormant. The reason you wait for dormancy is trees will cope better. This is also somewhat true of other species, but not all. Think of this as your first chance to visit a site and scout out other species that get collected in early spring or later winter, versus those you can only collect in spring, the middle of winter, and so on. Now, it's also important to be very much aware of regional factors. In hotter climates, you are going to have a much more difficult time collecting oak trees. It's much warmer, at least in terms of soil temperature, for much longer, and certainly a much larger part of the year. This means the window of time that you have to collect a Yamadori oak from the world in those regions is, well, shorter, obviously. And obviously, inversely, the cooler parts of the world you live in, the longer that opportunity is for. This is one reason to always check your local weather and soil conditions. In terms of timing, early spring is an option. Hear us out, as there's a big caveat to this, but you need to get the oak before bud swell and then the leaves come out. This is when the tree is still dormant, but the soil temperature is rising. This gives you a good opportunity to be able to collect your oak while the tree is just about to come out and start growing again, giving you an opportunity for root recovery, leaf development, and so on, but it's not yet awake enough to react negatively to what you're doing. This is a reasonably high success window as the tree ends up focusing all its energy on new roots post-collection. Autumn or fall, as Americans would call it, are another good candidate, although, again, candidate in terms of there's still some leaves on the tree, but it's sort of slipping into sleep or going into dormancy. This allows you to, for lack of a better phrase, take advantage of the natural phenomena. That is mostly the stored resources within the roots of the tree. That's all the sugars, mostly, that are used from the leaves and grown over summer, stored in the roots for root development. This will leave your oak with a much better root system, but it does mean you won't know if you have any success until spring. You want to try and collect these oak trees with as many leaves as possible, as they will be responsible for fueling new root development before it properly enters into dormancy. For oaks particularly, autumn is probably preferable, but arguably you want to look at either a late autumn or very late winter. The reason you aim for autumn is that there isn't the fine roots near the trunk, and this can lead to certain issues in spring around them drying off. If we're talking about late winter, it is possible for some, but you want to avoid the exact middle of winter in many cases, and this is more for practical reasons than it is an actual issue to do with collection. It's simply that the ground is frozen. It's just that much harder to dig them out. It's not saying you can't do it, it's just more difficult than it has to be. But with that in mind, some people do report success in early winter. At all costs, avoid midsummer. This is both high heat and dry soil. This is going to cause massive shock issues. Then you have late spring after the leaf out, unless the ground is very moist. But basically, you want to try and avoid this. Now, yes, there are some people who say that we have great success with this, but it's generally limited to certain species of oak. And it is inherently more risky as a result. And then we come back to that whole regional thing. Hotter climates, you want to be more careful. Cooler climates, you want to be more careful in some respects. Hotter it is, the shorter the time frame you have to collect. The cooler it is, the longer, but you have to deal with more frozen areas. The advantages of collecting oak trees, particularly in, say, late autumn or into winter, is that the trees are bare. That will let you choose the best candidates based on trunk shape, size, and taper. The downsides involve mud, digging in the wet, and humping equipment across country in what is probably not the most appealing conditions. The first steps involve scouting and pre-collection. You want to scout your locations. Look in areas that are somewhat hilly, near trails, fields, water sources, and particularly for stunted oaks due to poor soil or competition. You want to focus on trees with compelling features in the lower trunk. Essentially the first 10 to 15, maybe 20 centimeters. This is somewhere in the ballpark of 4 to 8 inches. You want something that's twisted, something that has taper, something that has deadwood, a gin or a shari, movement, and things like that. Most of the time you probably want to avoid something that's dead straight or has an uninteresting trunk. If you're going for a formal upright, necessary, but yeah, keep that in mind. Remember that trees will appear small on the ground. You generally want to aim for a trunk that's under 7 inches in diameter, just to make it manageable. The 7 inches across is a lot, and in a pot it's significantly more. Then you may want to mark trees. Now, marking trees, particularly if you're on private property, is very helpful, using some sort of fluorescent tape, warning tape, things like this. Or if you really want to, a GPS and just tag the coordinates, generally speaking during off-season. You want to involve some sort of pre-treatment if you can. Now, this depends on whether you have regular access to the site or not. If you do have regular access in summer or fall before spring collection, or winter collection if you're going to go down that pathway, a trench around the tree. Somewhere about half a meter to a meter around the trunk. This severs all those outer roots and encourages fine feeder roots closer to the base. This should improve survival rates, and we'll understand more on that shortly. You may also want to look at chopping the trunk or certain branches in advance to promote back budding and other styling features. Next is to take a rather surprising amount of soil back with you when you do collect your tree. Now hear us out. As a rule, we suggest not doing this with other species for quarantine reasons and possible introduction of pathogens, parasites, and so on. However, with an oak, it is a different story. Oak trees have a very close relationship with their fungal mycorrhiza. They practically need these fungi, and it's why you take ample soil with you. It is like moving home and taking your bed with you. It just makes sense, rather than setting up in a new home, which would be so much easier with your bed than it is trying to buy a mattress, let alone a whole new bed, at your new destination as you're moving in. The other reason is that, unlike the home and bed example, the oak tree uses these fungi much more personally. They are practically symbiotic. They need the fungi, so giving them as much of this as possible early on is important to give them a jump start and give them the maximum opportunity to survive being transplanted. Giving less soil is going to handicap the oak tree early on and make it so they have to take time coaxing the fungi into a reliable and usable population. Inversely, lots of soil means lots of fungi symbiotes to grow quickly, and they then start feeding the tree, rather than the tree trying to feed them. The tools you are going to need are fairly simple. You want a spade and a shovel. These are two different tools. A spade is for digging, a shovel is for moving dirt. The spade is therefore pointy, and ideally somewhat sharp, but you're not going into a trench to fight the Germans or the British, so you don't need it to be especially sharp. Or possibly heretics if you're a Krieg fan. You want some sort of pruner and loppers for branches and roots, heavy-duty plastic sheets, maybe trash bags, burlap or something similar, to wrap the roots in. You want duct tape for securing the wrap, and probably have to explain this to a cop at some point. No, officer, I didn't kill someone, this is a tree. You need containers or bags for collecting the original soil if you can, gloves, maybe a saw if the roots are particularly thick, although we do suggest an axe, as axes are always helpful, and also make the conversation with said cop rather more difficult. And finally, digging is physically demanding, so you may need to ask for help from someone if you're digging up particularly large trees. The step-by-step process is reasonably painless. Well, it can be painful if you do it wrong, but the actual process is simple enough. Start by trenching around the tree, somewhere in that 1/2 to 1 meter or roughly 2 to 3 feet mark. Dig down to expose a root ball and work slowly to try and minimize root damage. Oaks will have a deep taproot if you haven't already done work on this tree, and this will need to be severed with something rather substantial. It's one reason why the axe is useful. It's much easier to swing the axe in and at that root in many cases, rather than trying to get rather difficult to position and close pruners, loppers, and similar. Once you have managed to separate that taproot though, you should almost be able to just push the oak tree over. Not quite necessarily, but it's not going to be far off. It's important to note that deciduous trees are surprisingly resilient in terms of their roots, if collected properly. You don't necessarily need a lot of root mass with them, but arguably the more there is the better. Lift the tree out gently by rocking it, and once the tree is free and the roots are free, prune any damaged or excessively long roots, but remembering you want to retain as many as you can and as much as possible. Effectively, the larger the root ball, the better for the most part. Then wrap it up and transport it. Make sure you immediately wrap the root ball in something that's going to retain at least a little bit of moisture. Understand, a little bit of moisture, not a lot. Moist sheets, those garbage bags having some water in them, even adding, say, sphagnum moss, coir, or even just potting soil into the bags to help keep a little bit of water in there, prevent them from drying out. And remember to collect soil from where you are. Now, transport this as carefully as you can being the operative word there, in order to avoid further traumatizing this poor unsuspecting oak tree that's just been kidnapped. Once you get this home, you may need to prune the top of it if needed. This is something you may also want to do during collection in order to make the tree that much smaller and therefore easier to transport. This can also be useful in balancing root loss to branch loss. Just don't overdo it. Make sure you leave foliage if you're collecting in autumn, and ideally some of the branch structure to support recovery by allowing new leaves to grow come spring. Your aftercare is reasonably painless. Once you've got all of the major work you need done, that is remove large growth, make sure the root balls are the right size, plant it into a large pot. Now you can put this in a training pot if you want, or some sort of grow box. Make sure either way there's excellent drainage. Fill it with about a quarter full of 1-to-1 mix of gravel and akadama or similar. Then place the tree in here and fill this with about a 1-to-1 mix of your original soil from where you dug the tree up and akadama. Now you can replace the akadama with lava rock or similar. Either way, what you're primarily aiming to do with that is provide drainage with some sort of inorganic matter. Once it's in this soil mix, water thoroughly. You want to use a very fine nozzle to get the water to distribute very thoroughly across all the surface and soak right through, and not overly harm the roots. Once you've planted your oak tree and it's growing, ideally, or at least it's now got a new home, position it outside where it gets shaded light. Try to protect it from direct sunlight, wind, or any extreme temperature changes. Keep the soil damp and make sure it doesn't become waterlogged or soggy. Given what you've just done to this poor oak, trying to semi-drown it in, muddy water is not going to work so well. Monitor the oak tree once it's there, and you may need to consider some maintenance. May need to being operative there. Leave the tree undisturbed for at least a year, so no styling, no repotting or anything else, at least not until the next spring. And by next spring we mean not the one that comes, but the one after that. You may want to consider applying a very light amount of fertilizer in the first summer, once the growth starts coming back, and we mean coming back properly. This is going to be almost dictated by whether or not there are signs of stress, like wilting. If there is, don't use any fertilizer. Just leave it be, don't touch it, let it recover. And recovery can take a couple of years. If no buds appear after a couple of years, the tree may not have survived. There are some common challenges and, let's say, traps you might fall for. Root issues are the first. The oak taproot can make extraction very tough. Pre-trenching solves some of these issues. The survival factors are going to be things like high success in moist conditions, protecting from desiccation, and similar. So basically you want to try and give it the best chance by keeping it moist but not wet. The styling, well, once it's established, oaks suit a lot of styles. Littoratis are very commonly used, but not always, and there are, as mentioned, other styles you can use. It will take you time to get smaller leaves and finer twig structure. The ramification doesn't happen overnight. It will take you many years of styling to get that to occur, so just be aware that it will be something you're working on for quite a while. And of course, learning resources. You can always watch tutorial videos, join a club or society, and basically there are websites everywhere. Admittedly not necessarily on oaks, but you'll find what you need eventually. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it interesting, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. And please do post any comments, questions, or suggestions you have below.